All right, guys, well, we are live. I'm going to go ahead and start a couple minutes early because I've been starting a couple minutes late and I want to get into the habit of showing up as if this is a real show because it is a real show. It's maybe just level zero. It's not level 100. It's not on the radio. It's not like, you know, um, some radio station or music channel. It's just me on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. But I do want to start recommitting to treating it more like a show. All right. So since it is my show, I can do whatever I want. Um, I'm gonna I'm gonna go ahead and name it. I'm calling the show Designed, and what I'm doing is I'm reading Steve Chandler's book, Shift Your Mind, Shift the World. And after this, I'm going to read another awesome book by another Steve. It's Steve Hardison. It's the Ultimate Coach, also titled The Book of Being. And I think we'll get a lot out of this book. Okay. There's a lot of incredible books that I've read, over the past 20 years trying to improve my life and do this lifestyle design thing that I've learned about from Tim Ferriss. And what happens is that there's a lot of psychological and emotional blocks. And this is what nobody tells you. There's a ton of psychological and emotional blocks that get in the way of you actually taking any kind of action when it's for yourself. You're awesome. You can crush it for other people's causes. I call this side quests. And we can spend our life in other people's side quest. And the thing that we wanted to do, that we fantasize about doing, we always push it behind. So anytime something comes up, we jump to take on this side quest. We keep pushing our what we originally wanted down. And then after, years, we realize this I'm very far away from the thing that I actually set out to achieve. Okay. So this is my effort to pushing the things that I actually want to achieve up in the line of priority and reducing the irons in the fire. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started. Chapter 49 of Shift Your Mind, Shift the World by Steve Chandler. Chapter 49 The Power of Your Sleeping Mind. Anytime I am specific enough to use paper, my subconscious helps me achieve things. Even when I am not thinking about them, it moves me quickly in the direction of the number I've written down. I know when I jot down that I want to wake up at 6 o'clock, I open my eyes and it says 5:59 on the clock. Look at how the subconscious works for me that way. When I give it a specific number, picture, and timeline, it will move mountains to get things done for me. It knows how to do that. The human biological computer is amazing, but most people won't program it. Most people just keep floating vague things into their minds, never putting them on paper, always floating their ideas through the clouds of fantasy. I want more of this, and I wish I could have done more of that, or I wish I could have more of that. It's such a great new practice for me to wake up, take a yellow pad, and think about what it is I would like to bring into my life and how specific I can be, and just jot these things down. Now look at them. They're on paper, which means they've lost their unreality. They've lost their fantasy status. No more fantasy football. This is a real field of play. For me, without putting new numerical possibilities on paper, I will always just automatically, automatic transmission, keep thinking within the old, restricted, narrow paradigm of what I used to be. Maybe I'll be 10% better this year. Best case. Even companies do this. How can we increase revenues by 10% this year? So, the most anyone ever really imagines themselves doing this way is 10% better than last year, which never opens the mind to a new future. It just repeats the past plus 10%. So, my future isn't really the future at all, it's the past plus 10%. The brain is a goal achieving biocomputer right here between my ears. Why not use it to create a brand new future? Chapter 50. Stop going out of your mind. I only started realizing big mind shifts after I realized that the thoughts I believed were my only real problem. As I scanned books and the internet, I noticed that success in this world is achieved by millions of people. Therefore, there must be a simple process behind it. I soon realized that if I wanted to succeed at business or at playing the piano or at anything, the process I can follow will be simple and understandable because people who succeed always leave behind case studies of how they got there. Hey, I can just follow the simple directions if everything else fails. Right now, virtually all the knowledge that anyone has ever had about anything in the whole world is available on the internet. So, if you want to know how to succeed at running a small business, it's right there. If you want to know how to become a better tennis player, it's right there. How to succeed at playing classic piano, it's there, right there. If you follow the logical steps, if you practice regularly, you will succeed. Yet people think success is filled with intangibles. I know I used to. Mysterious factors, weirdly superior personality traits, odd convergences of luck and energy. Not so. So if it's all so simple, maybe not always easy, but surely simple, why was I not mastering it? And then I saw where it was going wrong. Negative emotions would hijack the place. Fear, worry, envy, resentment, frustration, discouragement. And then I would give up and shut down. How have I let that happen? What is the source behind this magic misstep on the path to success? Finally, I got the answer to that. It happens right here. People, like me, believe their emotions have an external cause. That's it. That's the only real problem. That's the game stopper. It's a belief and it's wrong. It's a misunderstanding that almost everybody in the world suffers from, and often suffers is too mild a word for it. People believe their emotions have an external cause. Can you believe it? Do you? Do you see the consequences? Because after that belief is believed, nothing works out. Once I saw and then truly saw that my emotions come from my own personal thoughts. All these outside circumstances and outside people lost their power to frighten or even worry me. I can move in the business world and create the circumstances I wanted and create the relationships I needed to move forward to success. No longer just hoping and that wishing they would happen for me. No longer afraid of everything and everyone. I could move freely, wake up and create ways to serve people without fearing them. Freedom. One of my clients was in an argument with his best customer the other day. He was debating about delivery dates and broken promises and who said what. Of course, my client was harming his chances of having a good month in his business because of his conversation, but he couldn't see it. He knew he was right. He was taking the argument personally, and he knew he was right. He was emotionally interacting with his number one customer. If you were logical, if you were simply Mr. Spock on Star Trek and did not have the capacity to be upset by this client, everything would have been worked out reasonably. His month's numbers would be just fine, and the business would stay on the path to success. But no, he was really ticked off. He felt personally threatened, and he converted that to anger and made a real mess of things. All because he believed his bad feelings were coming from his customer. He'd made the mistake of believing that something outside of him caused him to feel the deep threat he felt. Yes, but I was upset. Yes, I was upset. But that's because my coworker, my customer, backed out of a deal. Welcome to his world, where upset comes not from his thoughts, but from the words and actions of others. That will always be that will always be a fear-based world for him if there was never a mind shift toward real truth and understanding. People everywhere are experiencing similar mirages and hallucinations about cause and effect. Sure, I had a bad day, but that's because one of my people didn't show up. And another employee said this disloyal thing, and the bank told me our credit wouldn't be as deep anymore. These people are outsourcing their low feelings, and these are the very feelings that cause them to be ineffective in the face of challenges. But rather than realizing that these fears are thought challenged feelings, they are pointing their fingers at outside causes. Remember the latter. When I'm feeling worried, anxious, stressed, nervous, depressed, upset, I'm much less capable of creating good things. I'm not tapping into infinite creativity, and so I'm usually not making any progress towards success. How could I? How could I maintain clear focus on the simple path to success when I'm likely to be blindsided at any moment? How can I even proceed toward the intersection if there is high likelihood that I'll be T boned by another car? And the longer I stay down there in those dysfunctional states, the less I will achieve. But when I see it, the mind shifts. I float up the ladder to my natural place at the top, where the human system was designed to dwell. And I realize that, in a strange way, success comes faster when I am allowing myself to recognize and experience that natural state of happiness. Wow, for most of my life, I thought happiness would come from success, not the other way around. When I visit a company and talk to the salespeople, I will usually notice one salesperson right away on the team who seems happier than the others. I mean, genuinely happy. I don't mean the phony kind of person who looks happy, but you can tell they're putting it on. I mean a truly genuine twinkle in the eye. Later, I find out, not to my surprise, that person is selling more than the other people are. Maybe you're thinking, well, yeah, I'd be happy too if I made as much money as he did. But it's the other way around. It's the ability to stay at the happy level that creates and improves the success. But people low on the ladder always believe that some event can make them feel bad. They can also believe that some other person is responsible for how they feel. They don't see that they're living in a world of false causes. The problem with false causes is that there can be no solutions. I'm always looking in the wrong direction as I try to fix my life. Of course, there will be no solutions. So here's the problem. If I believe that my feelings are caused by other people and events, then I'm always feeling that I need to control and defend against other people and events, the very things in life that are blessedly out of my control. How confused is that? I show up for work, something happens, and now I'm low. I'm feeling down. I'm not productive for a long period of time. I could turn that around if I realized how the biological computer works, but I will only realize a mind shift if I know that inside the mind all feelings are caused by thoughts. If I think another way, if I think another person is the source, I am lost and helpless. If I stay with this investigation long enough, I will see and realize for myself and not have to take another person's word for it, not have to add on a new cumbersome belief to have to remember to believe it, that my feelings are not caused by anything around me. They are not caused by anything other than thought. It's what I think about what happens that makes me feel the way I do. It's not what happens. If it's raining outside, one person I know walks to the window and says, "Oh boy, it's raining. How refreshing. How great. We need rain. What a blessing." But another person walks to the same window and says, look at that. How dreary. Bad weather again. Oh man, this is really a downer. So we have the same rain falling, the exact same event and circumstance, but two different people are walking away from the window with two completely different feelings about it. If the event was causative, that wouldn't happen. It couldn't happen. but it isn't causative. Only thought is causative. And one person's thought was negative and the other's positive. Yet each one of the two people believed that the rain itself made them feel a certain way. They both saw rain as cause. If rain could cause a feeling, they'd both be feeling the same way. But if rain could cause a feeling, they'd both be feeling the same way. Rain cannot be a cause. Rain has no meaning until I attach a thought to it. And I'm free to attach any thought or not attach any thought. It's my primary and greatest freedom in all of life. The email I get from my boss has no meaning until I give it meaning. The competitor moving in across the street means nothing until I give it meaning. The downturn in the market means nothing until I create a meaning around it. And so, therefore, all these feelings that suffocate, drown, and smother my creative energy and thereby go against my success have been caused by my thoughts, not by events. Events cannot cause feelings, they don't have that power. It's not really how the brain works. The biological computer processes thoughts. So when something happens, I have to think it's a threat in order to be scared. Some people love snakes. I mean, really, truly love them. S- So they see a snake in the yard and they go softly, slowly toward the snake. If they see it's a garter snake, they love it. They pick it up, they're charmed. The snake has made their day. Another person sees a snake in the yard and goes running inside, heart pounding. How creepy. Oh my goodness. Now, which is it? Which feeling does poor Mr. Snake cause in people? Neither. He is not the cause. When I work with clients who I can tell are in creatively suppressed states about something, in other words, they are worried about it, or they're scared about it, or they are angry about it, I want to find the thought that creates the feeling. Because once we can challenge and evaporate that thought, they're free now to create success. The formula for business success is logical and understandable. It really is. You can sit down with a small business that's not succeeding, and you can figure out why. If you are a consultant, you can see what's keeping the business from succeeding. You can see what needs to be done. But often the owners themselves can't see it because they are believing all these scary thoughts about false causes and they're going into these profoundly dysfunctional, irrational behaviors throughout the day. That's that's what's leading to their failure. Soon, failure brings more failure, and can bring these bad feelings bring more bad results, and so they seem to confirm themselves as apparently true. Beliefs about impending doom almost always seem to make themselves come true. We could lose everything. When I work with clients who are in this state, I want to ask, what is it that you're thinking about this situation? Well, the competitor just moved in. It could be the end of us. Well, let's look at that. What's the thought about the competitor that you're thinking that causes you to feel all this fear? Let's look at it. They're going to take all my business away. Is that really true? Let's think that through. Let's say the competitor runs a lot of advertising and wakes the whole community up about how great this product is, that you both sell. And now there is a spillover effect to your business because the competitor has run radio ads and done door hangers, and now everybody's now awake to how great this product can be. And people notice you are across the street, so they check both of you out and your sales go up. Now, wouldn't that just as likely happen? And what if your customer service was so much better than the competitors that anytime anyone comparison shopped, they would end up with you? So now the competitor has done nothing but stimulate interest in you without paying, without you paying for any of that advertising. By the way, this often really does happen. There is a successful business, and because it's successful, somebody else thinks, well, we could do that too. And they come into the location and they try to do the same thing, and they spend a lot of early money on marketing. They raise the awareness of the general service and the product because they don't really know how to be specific enough yet. They are not that skilled in direct marketing. And so their rising tide lifts all boats. And soon there's more traffic at your store than, than there's ever been. And yet, most people, when they hear about competition, get scared and they get upset and they fret and they do crazy self destructive things based on fear. They don't work very well with existing customers now because their mind is into a projected future about which they could lose everything. We could lose it all. But it's the thought, I could lose everything, that makes me more likely to lose everything because of what it does to my energy and creativity. If I could see that it's always my thought that gets in the way and makes me scared, I would experience a mind shift. I would take a breath and fall out of that thinking and return to inner peace. I might even notice an elevation of my thinking back up to the creatively strategic level, the logical systems level. This is not some kind of dreamy, new age concept applied to business. Even the hardest core manufacturing expert, W. Edwards Deming, said the most practical first mandatory step in transforming the productivity of a business was to eliminate fear from the people working there. All right, guys, that was a really long chapter, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish it here. I'm gonna continue on. I'm gonna continue on chapter 51 another day. All right, guys. I'm gonna end the stream, and you guys take care.